Good morning, Internet. How are you today? Excuse me. I'm here drinking tea and enjoying this lovely rainy afternoon. Actually, a rainy morning. And I want to talk about this experience that I had. Like I said, this is kind of a journal, not really a self help kind of channel, which some people kind of think it is. And if it resonates with you, please take my lessons and don't repeat them. Let me go through the pain first. But if it's just for entertainment, that's what it's here for. I'm actually just kind of using this as catharsis. I want to talk about, if you listen to my previous video about the breakup I had, I was the dumped, yes? And the person who dumped me went back to his ex. And I want to talk about that because I was in this very weird love triangle that I didn't even know I was kind of into until like everything started to crash and burn around me. I know this sounds weird because typically people do have egos or whatever, but I kind of went through an ego death. Excuse me. And I don't mind being on the receiving end of the dumping experience because that really had no reflection of my value or myself. The way that it was done kind of blew my mind, but I didn't use that as a way to devalue myself, my worth, or whatever. I'm actually, as you can tell, I think one person said this, and you are, sir, you're right. You said that this chick is kind of cocky. No, I am very cocky. I admit this, but I'm cocky to the point where I know who I am and I like who I am, and no one can sway me from that. So, like, low level people can't sway my worth. I've been through too much, I know too much, and I've seen too much, and I'm okay with that. So, if my confidence comes off as cocky, then yeah, I will totally be that way. So, getting back to where we were, I was dumped. And I'm like, okay. But what blew my mind is this person went back to his ex. And I want to go ahead and give you just some play-by-plays of how I observe the whole situation going down. And maybe this can help you. I do ask, I'm not going to make this too long, but I do ask for those of you who are going through a breakup and have been dumped and you went through the same experience or going through the same experience I am, that you please listen to this entire message. I promise you I won't make this like super long, but I think you should know because I've come through the other side of it. And I think it's good for you to kind of question yourself, question the people involved in the love triangle, because that's typically what this is. It's a love triangle, right? And then decide what you will do as far as your value. So, you must understand that there is a gentleman who is a CIA veteran who actually writes a lot of books, that every conversation, every commitment is basically a negotiation, right? And if you kind of take the love out of it and see it for what it is, you will see that every person that you come in contact with, be it a barista at Starbucks, be it your boss, be it your husband or your wife, be it your girlfriend, boyfriend, be it your child, it's a negotiation. Someone is trying to get something out of someone, right? And that's a very cold and calculating way to do it, but we're human beings and that's how it is. When a baby comes out of the womb, it cries because it wants to be comforted. That's the negotiation tactic. We are wired to be negotiators. Because if we're not negotiating, we won't survive. We're social animals. So, let's talk. Number one, you must realize when a person talks about their ex more than what is logical and responsible, meaning bills, debts, something that is adulting, they're still unfinished business. And 9 times out of 10, if this person talks bad about their ex, they're not over them because they were the dumped. Typically, people who do the dumping, that is power for them, right? They have won basically the negotiation. But when they are on the other end, they are the loser. And so if they get the chance to even the score or to win, they will take it. That's why you have men and women who still are heartbroken 10, 15, 20 years later from a person that they dated in high school, because that person, they really cared for that person. And that person basically gave them the door. That person won the negotiation, right? It's not really love now. Now it's about the ego. Two, the person who did the dumped does not want to see the new girlfriend or boyfriend change their ex-lover for the better. Now, when I started dating this dude, he was a handsome dude. He still is. But he had no confidence, and it was very obvious, and I'm full of confidence. And so I was like, look, we can't go out if you don't put some effort in yourself, if you don't walk with your head high, if you don't walk, like you are intelligent, that you're handsome, that you have something to offer. We can't be together like that. And so during our span, we were almost together a year. During our span, he slowly started to change and see his value, because the woman he had before him just kind of spent her time breaking him down, because she basically wanted money out of him and sex, but there was no love there because she didn't love herself. It's very obvious. Like, I could see her codependent tendencies, because she always had to have her dog with her no matter where she went. So, you had two codependent people basically feeding off each other. But then when someone who's confident comes in between them, that shifts the whole dynamic. She started to see that he improved. She started to see he was more groomed. She started to see this. Now, I'm not saying I mothered him. I was just like, you either shape up or you can go ahead and just do whatever you're doing. And so she didn't want to see the win. She did not want to see someone else that she had power over happy. So now you're seeing how the landmines were set, right? You had one person who wanted to win at all costs, and you had another person who wanted to get vengeance at all costs. And I was caught in the crossfire. Third, and I'll say this, when your intuition starts kicking in about something is wrong with your dynamic, this is just my advice. Only have one conversation. Just be straight up with this person. And I did. I was just like, look, you are talking about this woman in your past. So I'm going to give you this one chance to tell me it's over, and you can walk and go back. Typically, when you're straight up like that, it takes the person off guard. And from my experience, 9 times out of 10, they won't walk because they don't want to lose either. Remember, this is all about a negotiation, right? And they know they're in a better situation with you, but their ego is still screaming to go ahead and go back. Now, typically, people like this are cowards. They don't want to go ahead and take the L, a known L, because they know deep down inside it's not going to work. But they want to kind of keep you on the hook and weigh their options, right? Until they feel like it's safe to, quote unquote, I think the term is monkey branch. But when you basically call it out as it is, and then anything that happens afterwards, that gives you, the person who you should be more important about, I guess you could say the person you should be more concerned about, you, even though it will hurt you, even though you'll have heartbreak, you did do your due diligence. You did give this person a way out that was clean, that was appropriate, and that it could actually not burn bridges between you because they decided to be honorable and follow their heart and do it clean. But when they decide that they want to cheat on you or disappear or ghost you or whatever, you just know now that this person is a coward. And since they're a coward, you don't have time for cowards. You're valuable in that. And hopefully, like myself, you learn from the situation. And part of the negotiation is when someone walks away from the table automatically gets 10 times more expensive. Hopefully, you took this time during your heartbreak to lose weight, if you want to get a better wardrobe, to basically evolve yourself so you'll be more comfortable and actually more expensive on the dating market. You will level up, so to speak. And typically these people do come back because they feel like when they leave, the negotiation was what it was, right? So they think the table's the same. It's your job to make sure that the table's not the same. It's your job to make sure when they first at the table, they had McDonald's, and when they come back, it's filet mignon. Can they pay the bill? Are they going to do the work? I don't know. Typically from the men that I have, they realized now that I see what they realized, that they got something that was very, very precious at a very low price. And so the men in my previous life, none of them have come back because I'm too expensive. Now I just basically date people who are on my level or above. And so should you. Going backwards, it's not worthwhile if there's not a lot of time and a lot of reflection between the both of you. If you both have changed, like Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, who had kids, marriages, failed marriages, and a decade between them to basically evolve, different. But if it's going to be like 3 months, 6 months, or whatever, unless that person is going through major therapy and you are too, nothing's really changed and it won't work. So remember, when the person goes back to their ex, they walked away from the negotiation table as it was, because typically the person in power doesn't feel like they need to change, and the person who lack the power does change, right? And then it changes the dynamic, it changes the expectations, and that goes the same for you. So please know your value, and know if someone walked away from you, then that means they walked away from negotiations, and that means that the table will be completely expensive if they're even allowed to come back to the table at all. Bye, Internet.